We think they're going to have a beat and raise quarter. I think it's going to be a lot like Cisco was in the mid 90s, where you had some horrific sell-offs of over 35% on the way to that stock being up 4,000% over the course of 5 years. And I think Nvidia is going to be roughly similar, where you're going to see some horrific sell-offs and then some recoveries. And I think we've got several more years to go before this AI build out is over. But it's not to say you're not going to have periods of digestion, just like you saw with Cisco, which we've talked about in the past.
Cisco only went to $600 billion, though. So this went obviously further than anyone thought. So it's going to sell off and then go to new highs. What would new highs look like for Nvidia? What's the market cap at that point?
I think the stock can double from here. But I also think that's going to be driven by earnings, where I think revenues can double from here. And try to put this in some perspective, Joe, if you go back and you look at the internet build out and you say Netscape Navigator was really the launch of this thing we know as the internet. That was at the end of 1994. From the end of 94 to its ultimate peak in revenues, Cisco's revenues went up 15 and a half times. The stock went up 4,000%. So now you look at Nvidia, and obviously explosive earnings. If you look at the 6 quarters since we heard about this thing called ChatGPT and OpenAI, their revenues have gone up 4.5 times, not 15.5 times, 4.5 times. And the stock has gone up over 600%, but that's not 4,000% either. It actually doesn't look that expensive when you adjust it for its growth rate. And relative to Cisco back then, which had Nortel, Lucent, Alcatel, and all these competitors, it's really Nvidia. And then the list just dramatically falls off.
I mean, that would be a $5 trillion company if it were to double from here. But, we didn't think that could happen.
Let's get to Jim and stop trading.
One of these midnight downgrades, lost in the shovel. Goldman Sachs downgrade of Lulu, stepping to the sidelines, execution challenges weigh on growth. This is really Lulu shooting themselves in the foot. They're talking about decline in innovation. I don't know where this one stops, because the high multiple stocks RH, they're just not doing well. And I don't want to encourage people to try to bottom fish in those.
That's
if you
interesting.
Want to bottom fish, you bottom fish in Meta. You've got right here in Microsoft. I would say Microsoft, you bottom fish at 400. Amazon, 160. And Apple, you don't have to bottom fish because it's doing incredibly well. I'm going to leave out Nvidia for now because it's become too emotional. I say own it and don't trade it, but it's very emotional right now. And I think you got to let the people out of the stock before you come in.
Interesting piece on the tape today regarding Nike and their marketing spend, which has been ratcheting up year after year as they try to resuscitate some. Actually, their story talks about moving some savings from their restructuring into marketing.
Well, look, I think that they have very good product, and they don't seem to be in sync. I mean, this is the Olympics. Remember, we used to buy Nike ahead of the Olympics? I would give a check. What Mark Zuckerberg talks about, giving a check to us and having great results. I think Nike should take all of its market spend and give it to Mark Zuckerberg and say,
both then Niles and Cramer talked about Apple today, so let's have a look where a longer-term investor could pick up some Apple shares. In a stronger market, could make sense to buy Apple here, close to the weekly 8 EMA. But in this market, today is a brutal day again. In my opinion, it makes more sense to buy Apple in the case of any weakness. We have this nice double top here that was taken out by this move, and I would like to wait until the price comes back down here to the 200 area. Then there would also be the 20 MA on the weekly chart. It's more or less. And this would make sense for me to pick up some Apple. If you look at this channel I drew here, you can see upper range would be 273. Not sure about that, of course. But who knows if the upgrade cycle is really as successful as some investors already said on CNBC. Then who knows, maybe there's room what do we have here? 280, maybe. So if we can pick it up at 200, 280, 40%, hopefully during 2025, wouldn't be the worst outcome. Okay, that's it for today. See you on Monday.